What's going on, guys? Skylord Studios 005 back here again, and today we're going to be filming a Quad X versus X video. So in case you didn't know, Quad X was my own system that I made up, where we took like dual layers and single layers, and we slapped them on these Quad Strike bottom tips to see if they would go around and perform like X bays. In their stadium, they did perform like X bays, so we're going to see if they can perform like X bays in the X stadium. We got Kerbeus on wheel and the stamina one, Ragnarok or Rocktavor 2A on sword, and we have Anubis on knuckle and adventure. So we're going to be doing these up against some X bays, being Hell Scythe and Dran Sword. So first off is Kerbeus versus Hell Scythe. 3, 2, 1. I will say weight-wise, this one's probably the heaviest Quad X. 3, 2, 1. Let's see if they can tank the attacks from Hell Scythe. Yeah, as you can see, since it's a stamina type, it's not really going to use the X dash. So I think what would have helped out is if the teeth were deeper. But Kerbeus does outspin it, so 1-0. 3, 2, 1, shoot. And just like a regular X match, we are going to 4, 3, 2, 1, shoot. First finish, 2 points for Hell Scythe. Three, two, one. Surprisingly not bursting. Another burst finish. Hell Scythe wins 4-1. So Kerbeus didn't really latch on. Granted, it is a stamina type tip, so yeah. Alright, next up is going to be Drawn Sword versus Anubion. So 3, 2, 1, shoot. 3, 2, 1, shoot. That's a self KO. We can do self KOs here. There we go. So, alright, 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1. And Drawn Sword takes it. I think it's what, 1-1. So, alright, 3, 2, 1, go shoot. 3, 2, 1. So if we would have gotten the X finish, it would have been over. But burst, Drawn Sword, 3-1, I believe. No, I think it's 3-all. Or 3-0. So Anubius is kind of dying out here. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Oh, dang. Alright, so score's tied up 3-3 because of an X finish by Anubion. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Anubius. Alright. Ring out. Drawn Sword is the winner. So, the biggest issue I see is the height difference. Look at that and that. And that compared to something like this. This gap right here is a huge weak spot for them to get hit by. Whereas this one is just tall. So, they're down 2. So, the final one will be Rocktavor versus Drawn Sword, because I just want to see both of the attack types go on. All right, 3, 2, 1. Safka. And then 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, off launcher, death thing. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. First finish. Drawn Sword. 2-0. So we're already starting out with a burst finish. Doesn't look like it's going to end well for these guys. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Ring out. 4. All. It's a ring out and a burst, so yeah, the X bays obviously pull off the gimmick a lot better than the Quad X bays, but these were almost like prototypes for X, so I still like how they turned out. Maybe next time we'll use a modified Quad X Stadium, because I do need to change out the layout on that because that is too small, so I gotta find another stadium to do it on. I'm debating Infinity Brink, Vertical Drop, something like that. One of the Hypersphere stadiums could be cool. Slingshock I think would work best, but I don't really want to destroy my Slingshock stadium unless I find another one. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on Quad X versus X. And I still have one X item coming in the mail, which is the Battle Pass. No updates on that, by the way. I have no clue where that's at. Hasn't been shipped. I remember reading somewhere that the Battle Pass wouldn't release outside of Japan out of, I think, August. Or out at the end of July. It'd like release at the end of July, so we're probably going to have to wait another 2 weeks for the Battle Pass. So I just got my stadium in, day before yesterday, I think. So we're going to have to wait 2 weeks from then, so before I get my Battle Pass, more likely than not, because I ordered the two the same time. Maybe between now and then, maybe getting Wizard Arrow, maybe Night Lance, maybe Night Shield, I don't know. I'm still debating getting Shark Edge or not. Again, it's very pricey for something that I feel like Drawn Sword can counter. But we'll have to see. We're going to need to see. I did see that they did round off the shape a bit from the initial app version. So it's not nearly as aggressive as I hoped it would be. But I think it's still going to be an aggressive Bay nonetheless. I just don't want to fork over $100 just for one Shark Beyblade. And the thing is, whenever I do random boosters, I don't like buying singles. I don't like risking it. I like having what I want. I like knowing that I'm getting what I want. Instead of wasting money on something that I might already have. So I either buy the full set or I buy the prize bay. I think the two random boosters that I actually did this with, not counting stuff that I could buy from Pro like Tact and stuff like that, were the BU random boosters being, I bought the full set for Kerbeus because I knew that red Kerbeus would come in handy. And I didn't have Roar back then, so overall it was a decent buy. Chain Kerbeus was a bit of a letdown, but I can still use the Kerbeus core for some decent stuff if I'm desperate, not using Hyperion or Lucifer. And Whirl Knight. Whirl Knight is probably the best BU Bay to get. Meta-wise, not Whirl Knight, Wind Knight, or Wind Kerbeus. So I just straight up bought Wind Knight instead of Wind Kerbeus, because I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm basically have all the BU Bays. I might as well just get the full Knight one, not Kerbeus. And yeah, and it did not disappoint except for the driver. So I feel like Shark Edge, whenever it comes out, I'm going to wait like a couple of months and then just probably buy the prize bay. Or I might get the yellow one, and if they released flat on another bay, then buy small flat or short flat, something like that. Because the thing is, I think it's supposed to be upper and it's supposed to be short. That's the whole gimmick with Shark Edge, whereas Night Lance was counterattack and tall. Shark Edge is short and upper. So I know I'm 98% sure that the next bay we're getting is like it's like that weird skull one that we saw in the manga, I believe. And it looks a lot like the rock wheel from Metal Fight. If you know what I'm talking about, I don't know the name of it, but I'm 90% sure that's the one we're getting next because I saw a teaser for it. Like, I think a teaser leaked or something like that. And I saw like the silhouette of like a rock, like a silhouette that looked a lot like the rock wheel from Metal Fight. And I'm like, okay, that's got to be that skull one, because that skull one's the only one that matches that shape, not counting Night Lance or not Wizard Arrow, Night Shield. So I've noticed they're doing mainly defense bays. They're not really focusing on stamina or balance. They're just reprinting Wizard Arrow and Hell Scythe. So I know eventually we're getting one called Drawn Dagger, which is going to basically be the Night Lance to Drawn Sword, which is going to be the Evo of Drawn Sword. So that's going to be interesting to see. Wizard Arrow, we don't know if they're going to evolve it or not. If they do, I think the most common name that we could get it would be Wizard Bow, because a lance and a shield kind of go hand in hand. So what goes hand in hand with an arrow? A bow. So bow and arrow, you know? Sword to dagger is obvious. Drawn sword to drawn dagger. Hell Scythe, I don't know what they're going to do about that. They might go back to Strike Hawk. Like they might remake Strike Hawk, which would be actually kind of cool. But the thing is, I don't see it being competitive because it looks too lightweight from the manga. We don't know. This is just my speculations. I think by November we should have maybe a Hell Scythe evolution, because I know we're getting a bunch of stuff in October and November. I think we're getting a booster in October, a stadium set in October, and something called a short booster, I believe. And then I think we're getting 2 deck sets in November, and I believe a booster, and we're also getting another booster in October. So my theory is, with these boosters coming out, those are probably going to be the Over project, being a remake of we're probably getting another Plastic Gen Bay. So I think the schedule is going to be Plastic Gen, Metal Fight, Burst, Plastic Gen, Metal Fight, Burst. So I think October we're going to get Plastic Gen. November we're probably getting our first Metal Fight remake. And we don't know anything about December, but December is probably going to be Burst. I have a feeling we know what the Metal Fight Bay is. Now the polls haven't been finished yet. But given their way that they tend to make remakes and stuff like that, they're probably going to fill out. I mean, it is up to the fans to decide, but realistically, they're going to fill out the most iconic bays. So the next one they're probably going to do for Plastic Gen is probably going to be something like one of the Dragoons, because Dragoon was the protagonist bay. My guess for Metal Fight, the most obvious one would be Storm Pegasus, or one of the Pegasus. The only thing is, a lot of these ones have complex gimmicks that they're remaking, and we don't have complex gimmicks as an X yet. So it's going to be a bit of a letdown. But, like, if we get Big Bang Pegasus, we're not getting Final Drive on it. Or not Final Drive. Final Drive. I feel like the best thing to do, believe it or not, shape-wise, and what we already have, Metal Fight, is actually Lightning Eldrago. Because it had basically a whole flat, and that's what Tapered is. So they could just slap Tapered on Lightning Eldrago's shape. Burst is also going to be complicated because they're probably not going to do single layers. They're going to do dual layers. All the dual layer stuff had more complex gimmick drivers, like rubber and stuff like that. And I don't see us getting rubber stuff in X. So they're more likely than not, we're not going to get the proper tip, but it's probably going to be Victory Valkyrie, because, again, it makes the most sense. I would love to see Meteor. Meteor would be a really cool one to do, but we don't have, like, the spiral tip yet. If we get a spiral tip on something, then, yeah, it'd be cool. Let me think, what all was on flat? I don't remember much on flat. I mean, they could kind of do Screw Capricorn, because that was a metal flat, but it just sub out for flat. Screw Capricorn was a pretty cool release, not gonna lie. I don't see them doing Storm Capricorn, because we don't have moving ratchets yet, and that was the whole gimmick. And I don't even think it made it to finals. I think we have Basalt Heriguum, I think Meteor Drago, all three of the Pegasuses are there, or all four, whatever. Lightning, Meteo, and Destructor are all in the finals. Kerbeus is in the finals, or Kerbex, whatever you want to call it. Twisted Tempo, I feel like, would be too overpowered to make in X. But the thing is, WD, they could just replace with High Needle, or Needle. So that's an easy fix. The only thing is, I don't see them doing new stuff, because they didn't do new stuff for Drons or S, so why would they do new stuff for the remakes? But that's just been a bit of speculation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.